Okay, YouTube crowd, this was a request from Buddy Russ over on the Western Slope to kind of go over the inner guts of our solar system down in our basement. Sorry if the light stinks because, well, it's in the basement. Wanted to know, because we have our battery bank in our basement and venting it outdoors, etc., how it all works. So anyway, because I can't video, I don't know how to edit. Just assume for the time being the solar panels are outside in the sunshine, which would make sense. This is a 6.7 kilowatt system. Right now we are generating 4,440, and if you look over here, it says the battery bank is full. So the solar panels, of course, generate the electricity, comes into the house. Ours is all Schneider Electric stuff. These are the two charge controllers, and they feed the battery bank, of course. The breaker panel, and then this is the big old inverter, and all of those have switching mechanisms into them to turn things off or on, depending on, you know, what kind of catastrophe we have. Which we've only had one. We did have one battery bank fail, which was kind of fun, and we watched them erupt like Mount Vesuvius down here, which was kind of scary. Anyway, so that's just the normal guts. I know, Russ, you're using something like the Midnight Classic or something like that. This is just what we used. And because it's a grid-tied system with battery backups, all the permitting and everything, the county didn't really quite understand what the hell was going on. So they wanted us to have emergency off kinds of things all over the place. And there's 3 of them out by our back door, too. They just didn't know what they were looking for. So anyway, this one, because we are a grid-tied system with battery backups, open this up, this is the magic switch up here. If the power on the grid goes out, that switch senses it so quickly, your bedstand clock won't blink. The microwave won't blink. It goes so fast you don't even know it happens. In fact, we've been up watching movies before and the power's gone out and didn't know it happened. This switch here, that is just the whole kill switch. If we want no power to the house, that's the one you come and hit. So anyway, but the box itself, we've got a couple different ways to monitor the batteries and to turn things on and off. The top white one is for the main controls for the settings for the inverter and the charge controllers. The bottom is a battery monitor, and then this one over here you can plug into the computer and it'll tell you the overall health of things, what you're generating, you know, your floats and all that kind of stuff. But down here, here's the battery box, and I'll open up in a minute. But the guy that set this all up for us built this in his shop, and it's just kind of like everybody else's that I mostly see are outdoors. It's we've got eight of the big lead acid batteries, the double highs, of course, and it's a 48 volt system. And excuse me, if the power goes out, this is what kicks in. It powers about 2/3 of the house. There are a couple of rooms we figured we didn't have to have on the critical load panel, so we could go off of this indefinitely. The only difference is where most people use a generator as a backup, we're tied to the grid. And the reason for that, this pan here, is because this is my grow room. This is where we start all of our seedlings, and you can see hanging from the rafters all these different lights. And when they're all on, that's over 6,000 watts worth of lights. And that's how we start everything that goes out into our garden. So that's why we have the grid tie. So on the times when we're pulling way too much juice, this simply can't do it. But this will keep us going in just about every emergency possible. Now, the thing is, it's down here. It's got, the bottom is kind of lined with pool liner, pond liner, I guess, so that if there is an overflow, it doesn't just roll out onto the floor. And the basement, of course, the floor is cement. You can see where our batteries failed once. Those are hydrochloric acid or sulfuric acid burns when they were going off. I don't recommend that. We know why it happened. Won't happen again. It was kind of an error on everybody's part. But you can see here we've got a PVC pipe coming out here, and right there on the reducer, inside of there is one of those computer cooling fans. And when it charges, when we do a hard charge, what do you call, equalize them, or when they're just topping off, that little fan comes up and pulls any acid or the hydrogen gas that comes off the batteries and vents it all the way up and outside. So that's how we were able to do this. There was some kind of regulation with the county that said if you're going to have batteries, it had to be within a certain distance of the inverter. So the inverter was indoors, so the batteries had to be. And that's what we have. So anyway, you know, it works exactly like everybody else's system. The difference is that we equalize off the grid instead of equalizing off of a generator. I can do the other as well. In fact, there are things here that I can hook up into there I haven't even dreamed of yet. But at the peak of the day and peak season, we're up around 5,500 watts. I mean, you know for sure that no matter how big your system is, it's never going to generate what its maximum capacity is. But we produce just about everything we need except for when we're running these beasties. And they suck a lot of juice. And that's what got me started in solar in the first place. So anyway, that's our messy basement right now. You can see the harvest is starting to come in. And it will be messy for a while until that's all done. So anyway, hope that helped. And Farmer One out for now.